there are fewer people looking in fewer corners at fewer things professionally. Thus, it becomes almost incumbent upon the citizenry to help pick up some of the slack that institutional journalism is dropping right now as it goes through this painful migration into whatever it's going to be. I mean, I am eternally optimistic about all things, and so I'm eternally optimistic about journalism too, and I think ultimately we're going to get there. We're just in a really painful migration right now from a revenue model to something, some sort of revenue model that will emerge. I mean, I think it'll emerge, and we will be doing that journalism, but it'll be faster and tighter and of, I think, smaller duration for the most part. I think competitive institutions will emerge, whether they're nonprofit, whether they're citizen-driven, or some combination thereof. And so, absolutely, I think citizen journalism and even beyond citizen journalism, just citizens writ large have a gigantic role to play. I mean, this is one of the great ironies of the information age, I think, is that never has so much information been a fingertip away from the citizenry, and never have the citizenry been so disengaged over the information. And if we can bring the two of them closer together by, I think, making it easier for them to access the information, I think we could really spark a revolution. I mean, I really think we could touch a nerve if we can make it easy for people to sleuth local government, for example. I'm not going to say it's ever going to be fun for a lot of people. It's hard work sometimes, but if we can make it easy, and for some people it is fun, and if you can make it easy enough to identify the people for which it's truly sort of a passion, and then empower them, watch out. I mean, that's a powerful combination. I like to think about all those gadflies in all those meetings who are nice people and well-meaning and passionate, but completely uninformed beyond what they read in the daily newspaper, suddenly becoming informed by their own research that they can use the internet to provide access to lots and lots and lots of local documents in their own backyard that suddenly levels the playing field with the elected officials and appointed officials. To me, the scrutiny levels would just skyrocket. I mean, there would be more intelligent questioning, which would hopefully result in more intelligent policy making. I mean, it goes back. I remember reading Alexander Meiklejohn in graduate school, the old New England philosopher, talking about the town hall meeting as the ideal form of American government, and that stuck with me. And I think what happened was the complexity and the speed of American life over the last 50 years has sort of eviscerated that town hall meeting until now it's just sort of a hollow shell of its former self. I think with the use of really easy to access public records on the internet, we could usher that back in pretty quickly, I think. I mean, I think it could be a dramatic transformation of civic life in this country. I think it was Justice Brandeis long ago that said sunlight is the best disinfectant, electric light the best policeman. Nothing could be truer. I think when people know that there's someone behind them, they behave differently, period. I mean, we all do, I think. If I'm teaching and I'm prattling on in my lecture hall and I know that there are a couple hundred people watching me teach, I'm going to teach very differently than if I'm teaching to my mirror at home. I don't know anybody who wouldn't. And I think that public access and public scrutiny of systems just makes it that much harder. It doesn't make it impossible, but it makes it that much harder for them to do the wrong thing. Were they tempted to do the wrong thing? It makes it, there's a break there. They go, people are watching. And if people aren't watching, they're emboldened. I'm not saying by any means that all or even a majority or even a slim, even a large number of public officials are just inherently corrupt and will run wild if there's no scrutiny. I'm just saying that for that proportion that are prone to corruption, to malfeasance, or just to neglect, or just not doing their jobs, that it emboldens them. There are clearly many among us who believe that information is potentially dangerous, that is fraught with risk, that it can be a force for evil, I think, for lack of a better term. I may be overstating it, but it seemed that way. My belief, and it's pretty firmly felt, and I think history proves it largely true, is that information is inherently good, and that the more we know about our communities and really about one another within bounds, the better off we are. The reality is that we live in a incredibly complex capitalist democracy, and so when I hear people talk about wholesale closure of information, I get deeply concerned about that, because it seems like the formula there is let the government protect the information. Well, when you do that over and over and over again, what you're doing, without even really thinking about it too hard, I don't think, is making sure that the government has all the information and that you don't have any. That there's no way to watch the people that are watching you. That's the sort of thing that haunts me, is there's this wholesale transferal of power to the state by the citizenry without any concurrent means for the citizenry to scrutinize the state.